What's going on, y'all? So listen. What's going on, you guys? We are back again for another episode review of Married to Medicine. This is season 8, episode 6, The Power of Crystals. Okay. So we get into the episode and we're seeing what everybody is up to. Eugene and Toya talking about tennis lessons and he managing her or teaching her or some shit like that, investing in it. Girl, whatever. We gonna fast forward. The doctor fucking heavenly. That bitch got on the phone with Alora. Baby, everything okay? You don't need me for anything? Because she at the house by herself. You need me to come back? I said, how old is the girl? How old is the girl? Alora looked like a grown-ass woman right about now. She grew up into, she's a beautiful young girl, okay? And I'm like, Dr. Heavily, stop it. And when she said, you on your period? Girl, I would have hung the fuck up on her ass too, okay? Because at this point, we knew that Dr. Heavenly was just doing that on purpose. But anyway, so at this moment, she gets a phone call. I guess she was on her way to the office or whatever. She gets a phone call from from Reverend Al Sharpton's assistant in his office, and him wanting to speak to her, and she was shocked by it. Okay, most of us, well, if you talk to somebody and you get a phone call saying somebody that you seen in the spotlight on TV in a political arena that you respect or whatever type of field that you respect, bitch, you gonna be starstruck. Heavenly, she played that shit off because baby Ashley, if it was somebody that I really want to talk to, I would have just been nervous as hell, stubborn over my words. Bitch, that's how I was when Missy Vet called me. I just, girl, that random thought just came in. I couldn't talk or nothing, like tongue-tied in a motherfucker, okay? But anyway, because I couldn't believe it. So that's how she was acting, and basically, this is around the time, remember when they was doing the anniversary of the March on Washington, and I remember this time because this was when, if you watched the Scorpion show, I don't know if some of y'all watch him, but Mikhail had made a bus trip and was going down there, and he went down there, whatever. But they were organizing this, and because of the work that Dr. Heavenly and Dr. Damon do and have been doing with the mobile testing for COVID-19, he wanted to get them on board to get people tested before entering the march or whatever. And she was like, she's not the physician for that. It was Damon, and she's pretty sure that Damon will be on board for it. And so she was just honored, and I would be honored like that. Like, you can't say no to something like that. Somebody that you respect or whatever. I wouldn't say no. Okay, I'll make it work, bitch. Okay, this is like one of those once in a lifetime situations. And then we get Contessa. Girl, I don't know. Contessa and her storyline with Scott, I just want them to hurry up and get to the point, okay? Because at this point, we've been seeing them going through their mess, and at this point, we are tired of it. We want to get down to the bottom. We want to see y'all back happy, or we want to see y'all, we don't want to see y'all break up, but if that's where it's heading, go ahead and do that shit, bitch, okay? Because it's getting a little tiring. Because we saw that last season, y'all had a little hiccup. You still ain't recovered from that. She's complaining about the kitchen. She said the original kitchen was from the old owners of the home, and she's been wanting to remodel it, but ever since COVID came in, it shut stuff down. It's just messed up things and through everything. Also, she's frustrated. She's talking to her niece, Paris, and just talking about how everything is not going right. And ever since this virus and the shutdown has happened, things have been off. The friendships have been off, and once the girls get together, they split up into their separate groups, and it's like high school or whatever. And we need some healing, okay? We need some healing. Give me this rose quartz, okay? Tell me where the money is. And then Mama said, tell me if Scott has some side chicks. I said, oh, now see, bitch, you putting your tea out there a little early, okay? But we already probably was thinking it, and they put it out there trying to imply that he possibly might be cheating. We don't know, but from the preview of the whole season, when that trailer dropped, that's basically what people was trying to, it kind of look like, okay? And they never really answered it, but I guess we'll get our answer in the season. And I was like, even the producers had to ask her, why you ask about that question? I mean, hey, it's on her mind. It's on her mind. And she wants the girls to come over and she wants to have her niece do this little healing or whatever with the crystals and stuff like that because she's into the spirituality, she's into the crystals and stuff like that. And she was like, cool, no problem, whatever. It was cute when she had the little nipple slip and she was like, bitch, hold on, let me get some tape for my titty because first of all, this ain't the type of relationship that we get. Miss Paris was like, wait, first of all, I didn't see it. I was like, girl, you want to see it? She look gay or whatever, but it was cute. It was a fun little moment. But yeah, Scott and Contessa. So Simone comes in from work and Cecil's downstairs in the little man cave basement getting him a drink. And we see the same thing is happening with Dr. Jackie. They both coming home, they both talking to their men and they're discussing, what happened during the game and with Dr. Jackie and Curtis, she was asking what happened with the game and how did that go, the little basketball game they had at Heavenly's and everybody had a good time. And, she said, did you talk to Cecil and Simone? She was like, yeah, I had a little discussion with them, whatever, seeing all the guys, seeing everybody again. That was really nice. Um, Over with Cecil and Simone, Simone and them, they was thinking that they was going to be empty nesters by 2020, but that didn't work because they still got Miles in the house. Even though he's working full time, he's still living there in the house. But with 2020, that just threw a wrench in everybody's plan. So that's that. But then, she told him about the fact that Dr. Jackie wanted to meet up with her and she felt as though it was Heavenly that made her do it. And she said, I'm pretty sure it was Heavenly that made her put her up to it to call her and ask for the meeting because Heavenly has been pushing for Simone to reach out to Dr. Heavenly. So now Heavenly is pushing for Dr. Heavenly to for Dr. Jackie to move for Simone to reach out to Dr. Jackie, and now Simone Heavenly is saying the same thing for Dr. Jackie to reach out to Simone. That's what it is, okay? And we see a part of the clip that we didn't see of the conversation when Dr. Jackie called Simone and she even asked her, did Heavenly put you up to this? And she was like, people don't make me do what I don't want to do. And of course, Heavenly had to come in and turn it around to make it known that she was there. And so, even Cecil had to clock her on the fact that, when you said that it was a little tone or something to the fact that, Dr. Jackie wanted to meet up with her or whatever. And her whole thing is she's not sure. Like, if she really wanted to meet up, she's not optimistic about it because she's a pessimist. And, you know, um, Cecil was like, y'all are stubborn, okay? And Simone is still, harping on the fact that when she first saw her again at Dr. Damon's house at his 50th birthday party, the way that Dr. Jackie didn't rightfully or right away, I should say, just pop up and say, hey girl, what's going on? It was the slowness of it, and she just didn't like that. And Cecil had to remind her, well, it was probably a little awkward. And, she probably did it that way because at this point, you probably would have felt some type of way, probably felt it was fake or whatever too, if she would have just jumped up and been like, hey girl, how you doing? I miss you so much and blah, blah, blah. Knowing that that's not in neither one of y'all natures to do something like that. And she was like, yeah, I get it, and he was just saying how everybody in the group is stubborn. So somebody has to make a move. And if somebody make a move, just, go with the flow of it. And even Cecil was telling, not Cecil, but Curtis was telling Jackie, this is the step, okay? This is a step reaching out, and an even bigger step that y'all need to have is to actually sit down and talk face to face about what's been going on. And that's what it all boils down to. Like I said, I will continuously say this. I hate the fact that this relationship of 20 plus years has gone the way that it's gone over something that to me seems so small and minimal. And Simone was like, they never gotten into anything this tense, and that's what's throwing them off, at least throwing her off. They never got into something so tense like this. And you can probably tell they just don't know how to deal with it, and I know they miss each other, and it's just egos, I feel like, that's involved, and, hurt feelings, and all it takes is a real conversation. That's what I feel. So, the guys want to go do Tough God. Top Golf or whatever. Of course, uh Heavenly and them had to tell, Dr. Jackie and everybody about the fact that, Dr. Reverend, why do I keep calling him Doctor? Reverend Al Sharpton, wants them to do this whole, testing and things on the March of Washington. And we get Damon and all the guys, Cecil, Curtis, Damon and his sons, Curtis' son, well, not Curtis' son, Curtis don't have kids, Cecil's son, Miles, okay, and Eugene and Kieran, they all come out there playing top golf or whatever, and Scott, and basically they was having fun. Now let me tell you something. I feel like this is a small element that I feel like the Real Housewives. I know it's called the Real Housewives of Atlanta or whatever, or the Real Housewives period. It's not necessarily about the husbands or whatever, but when the husbands used to be on there, the husbands used to make that shit funny sometimes. Okay, and when in the midst of all the drama, the husbands used to be the ones that just keep even everything out or whatever with their funniness or whatever. Yeah, we get Mike on there, but to see them all come together and to have their little boy moments or whatever, I miss that camaraderie. The way that they come together on Married to Medicine, and they got a commonality with each other is that they're doctors, and Damon telling them about the going to Washington, and they invited all of the people to come, everybody to come, and so at this point, everybody is going to go. And, he was like, since it's going to be so many people there, we don't know how we're going to get there as safely as we want. And so basically the only option is to get a private plane. I was like, oh, Damon, you finna fly for a private? Okay. The one of them was like, you sound like the women. You sound like our wives or whatever. And so they're going to get a private plane, and they're going to get a place out there in D.C. to stay, a nice little Airbnb mansion or whatever for them. And it was like, are the wives coming? 9 out of 10 they gonna come because there's always gonna be some mess or whatever. But then they started going into talking with the younger people, Damon Jr. and the other son and Miles, and what Black Lives Matter means to them and what can evoke change and how they proud of this generation and what they're out there doing when it comes to the Black Lives Matter situation and everything like that. It was a nice little moment. So, we get into this whole, um, I guess this healing crystal party that Contessa is trying to throw. She's getting ready for. We see the ladies are, on their way. We saw a quick little scene of her actually inviting everyone including Toya, and some of the people. I think Heavenly or somebody was asking, could they bring a plus one or whatever. Okay. Um, the air went to my tooth. I ain't like that. Okay, but anyway, and she was like, cool. She's fine with the plus one as long as they're tested, because she had one of her friends come. Dr. Jackie showed up. We see Dr. Heavenly in the car with Funky Dineva again, bitch. And let me tell you something, Funky Dineva wasn't the one that was being messy. It was Heavenly, okay? Because at this point, all of them friends with Quad, okay? And we know that little history. Funky Dineva, did Sister Circle with Quad when it first initially came on, before he left the show. And they became cool, I guess. And so she's not coming to the party. You know what I'm saying? And they discussing, I remember when this shit happened. They discussing something that Dr. Heavenly had put on one of Quad's photos or whatever. And, Quad basically took it as, Dr. Heavenly was being shady. So she's clapped back real hard or whatever at Dr. Heavenly. And she was like, I wasn't being shady. I wasn't being this. I wasn't being that. And I said, bitch, I would have probably took it as a shady remark too, because we was all confused. I follow Dr. Heavenly. She follows me or whatever. But bitch, we was confused when it came to the timeline that, what's going on between y'all, because when I saw it, I thought it was some shade shit that was going on. I was like, so Heavenly and y'all, I thought y'all was good girlfriends. What's happening? Why y'all going at each other like that? I ain't getting nobody business, but I'm sitting here looking at it like, the fuck happened, But anyway, I Shay, Heavenly can't help but be shady, okay? And sometimes you gotta know when to turn that shit off and when to turn that shit on, okay? And sometimes people be so goddamn shady so much you can't tell the difference, so therefore you get a fucking hard clap back the way that Quiet did to her. And then you continue to sit there in that car and say, I feel sorry for her. She ain't got no man, she ain't got this, she ain't got a husband that love her and all this stuff. And even Funky Dineva Quentin had to tell her, calm down, be quiet, Heavenly, stop that, don't do that. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting here like, Heavenly, shut up, okay? Just be quiet. You know what I'm saying? Just be the fuck quiet at this point. Quiet ain't even on the show right now, okay? Shut up. Meanwhile, we got Dr. Jackie. Simone pulls up. You know what I'm saying? She comes in there, and you see them two. It's awkward as hell. Dr. Jackie sitting there like, "Ooh, I see you, but I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm not gonna say nothing." She said it just like that in her little confessional, like it's a little jokey joke between them. Like, I see my friend, but I'm not gonna say nothing. Not just yet, not just yet, or whatever. Nope, I'm not gonna look. I said, bitch, look. Okay, you want your goddamn friend back. Okay, that could have been an opportunity. You kind of fucked it up at the Damon party. That's how Simone was looking at it, because you wasn't so ready to jump and talk. Simone standing there like this or whatever. I'm like, Dr. Jackie, get your ass up and say, hey girl, how you doing? I mean, we supposed to talk or whatever, so make it feel inviting. Okay, Simone did like this. You was trying to avoid eye contact. How is this relationship supposed to get back on track? Y'all playing games, okay? I ain't like that. Even Simone was like, awkward. Then we got everybody else coming in, Heavenly coming in. Anila was there, whatever. Heavenly even said hello to Anila. They had a nice exchange, because the last time, they had an exchange at Heavenly's party, at the basketball game at Heavenly thing, she was coming at her about the Black Lives Matter and whatever she said, about black and brown folks or whatever, and injustices that we all face or whatever, and the different levels, and you can't compare and all this stuff. And so it was nice that they didn't have a little duke it out type of attitude session or whatever like that. Girl, we get them trying to wait on them to start. At this point, they was trying to wait for Toya to come. Okay, they didn't know whether or not Toya was gonna show up. Contessa put the invitation out there, and they was like, Paris said, I know we waiting on people, but we need to start. No offense, but can we like just get started or whatever? And it was like, yeah, sure, sure. Of course, Contessa gets up there. She's talking about this, talking about that. We need to heal, and sometimes we say things that hurt people that can be irreparable and irreparable and all that stuff or whatever. And I was like, okay, cool. She getting a little deep with it, making us think and all this stuff. They finna get into a meditative state. Meanwhile, Toya is in the car with Lisa Nicole and goddamn Carrie. Let me tell you something. Okay, so I went back and I was watching Married to Medicine winning from the first season. And I think I'm on episode 3. But in the first couple of episodes or whatever, Carrie gave me type of, because we a little bit woke in this heightened era Black Lives Matter and shit like that. Carrie gave me the tease like she don't really fuck with black people like that. Only a certain level of black people, because the way that she was coming at quiet and shit like that, I wasn't appreciating it. It was like this subtle undertone, and even Mariah had to get her ass together. You know what I'm saying? But maybe things was changing. Maybe I was projecting a little bit. I don't know. Maybe it was just I was looking too deep into it, but that was the tease that she was giving me, okay? She was giving me she was a little bit better than these niggas, all right? I'm just saying. But moving on from that, all of a sudden, her and Toya, I thought they had beef at one point. Them two cool again, and they up in the car, talking about Quad's photo, and then talking about why all these girls' butts you look on Instagram, all the girls' butts look the same, all of them look like fat transfer. Ooh, don't do this, don't do that, or whatever. Woo, woo, woo. They up in there meditating. These motherfuckers up in here gossiping, looking at Instagrams, all this stuff, and being late, okay? And then they show up late. I said, bitch, I would have told them to step outside until we finished, okay? That's what I would have did. If you want to cause some drama, step the fuck outside, bitch. So they was just about to start meditating, and Toya, and then not only did they come in late, they came in kind of loud and laughing and stuff like, damn, bitch, but either way, nobody got upset at the fact that they were there. If they did feel some type of way, well, Heavenly felt some type of way. She was like, bitch, why you come up in here with these recycled ass friends? Truth be told, yes, but I don't know if she got the reaction that she really wanted. I don't know what she thought they was gonna do, like be up in arms, but they didn't give them that. And what I didn't like, and I hate this. This is what I hate. on these shows, when they try to do something new that's out of the ordinary for them, and then they go back in their confessional and they start talking shit about it, fuck these crystals, and we need this, and I don't give a shit for this or whatever. Dr. Jackie said that. Dr. Heavenly said that. Hell, they was up there talking while the girl was up there talking about some, they need some food and shit like that. I hate rude shit like that. Keep those type of thoughts to yourself, because these people that are doing this, they can see this. They will see this when it actually plays on TV, and you can offend them by doing that. You won't want nobody doing that to you and discrediting you or putting down what it is that you do. They not trying to force you to do something. It's just doing something out of something a little bit different, getting a taste of something different. Okay, that's how I felt about that, but we're not gonna harp on that. Because Dr. Heavenly said it anyway. Again, we don't need no damn crystals. We need Jesus or whatever. Obviously, you need a whole bunch of shit besides Jesus. Well, in conjunction with Jesus, because y'all can't get these relationships to work right, bitch. I'm just saying, they go around in a circle. They was first giving out the packets on what type of crystals that they were dealing with and the meaning of them and all this stuff. And then they went on ahead and went around in a circle because Denise put out there that it's been some, issues going on within the friend group, and so each person goes around and say what they want to change and what they're sorry for and things like that. We got Anila, who said that she's sorry for the way that she came off and that she offended anybody about the Black Lives Matter situation with Dr. Heavenly. She told Dr. Heavenly that. Dr. Heavenly said she forgive her and she understands whatever. They did have a conversation afterwards talking about it, and they got over that little hump, and they're very grateful to be able to go to Washington and to see the history be made again, and so Simone was saying how she's sorry if she ever offended anybody, if she ever made anybody feel bad or whatever. And then Dr. Jackie was saying how she, sorry that she don't take a stand sometimes, most time or whatever, and comes off a little bit dismissive or whatever. And Simone was like, is she talking to me? Is she talking about me? Like, you can never tell. And it was a little vague, but even Contessa, she said, she's sorry for the way that she is dismissive to things that she feels is not important or doesn't matter or doesn't hold weight with her, and she does it a lot. And, even Toya took that in stride and was like, wow, so she actually owning up to what she does. So I can't help but be here and be like, okay, cool, we can see where this goes, whatever. And then here comes Dr. Heavenly trying to apologize to Toya. Toya, I'm apologizing to you for the things that happened and all that stuff, whatever. And all of a sudden, it was like this breaking news come through. I'm thinking something. I said, since when does Bravo get the news or whatever interrupted? Something must have really happened. No, it was just Toya talking about some breaking news. Heavenly apologizes again, and then they just goes on and show a replay of all the myriad of times that she has apologized for all the stuff that she done. And like Toya said, I had to agree with her. She gonna be apologizing soon after that. You know what I'm saying? It's probably gonna be something else that that's gonna happen that she gonna be apologizing for. Okay, but once again, they get into the whole thing with Jackie and Simone that they need to have a conversation. We all know this. And Carrie, girl, shut up. Okay? Carrie come up there to Simone, girl, I'm sorry about this, because you and Jackie, y'all been going through each other. Y'all been the way that you been done and all this stuff. And y'all been cool for 20 years, to be continued. Shut up. Shut up. Okay? You just coming back. Shut up. Okay? Shut up. I don't like when old people come into people's situation or new people come in and offer their opinion. Be quiet. I don't. Let them figure that shit out. So to end the episode, it ended on a positive note, and I actually felt the connection. I really did, and I hope that is real. You know what I'm saying? Simone and Dr. Jackie actually met up. Simone had asked if she was open to meet, and Dr. Jackie was like, yeah, she was just finishing up in the OR, so she met her down at the hospital in her office, and they had the conversation, and she was like, Dr. Jackie was asking, do you want this relationship to work? Do you want this friendship back? Do you want it to work? And Simone was like, of course, I do. Simone had already started crying, you know what I'm saying? And It was beautiful to me. And maybe I'm a sap because I like them together. And like I always said, since this whole thing happened, I don't like it when friends of, many, many years and have so much history behind them go on a break or break up for petty reasons, okay? And when I it may be big to them, but as a person on the outside looking in, it could have all have as much history as they have together. It could have been all avoided in space, or I should say ended and fixed a while ago if they would have just put their egos aside, because they both got egos, we have to admit that, and just sat down and talked it out. Okay, it would have been ended that moment. That's what I feel like, and they would have been back to good girlfriends. You know what I'm saying? Simone was saying it was the silence for her, during the Dr. Heavenly situation or whatever. And, Dr. Jackie was saying it was the fact that she felt like Simone wasn't standing up for her with the Buffy situation. So they both had their issues, and they both at this particular moment saw where each one was coming from. And this is what we needed. And, at the end of the whole conversation, we don't, Dr. Jackie even put up in there about how, throughout this whole time, you were there for me when I needed you the most, okay? When I was going through my breast cancer situation, I tried to put on the front light. I wasn't terrified. I wasn't scared because I had you there. You was there every Wednesday when I needed you, and you even, put out calls or whatever, making sure things was okay and everything. In the office for me if I needed anything. And I was like, that's beautiful. That's what friends does, okay? And even Simone said, you didn't take a stance with me. You didn't, even when I'm wrong, you call me out. You tell me when I'm wrong, you tell me when I'm right or whatever. You just sat back and you did nothing. And Dr. Jackie understood where she was coming from. Dr. Simone understood where Jackie was coming from, and basically what they're going to try to do is to take baby steps to get their friendship back on track. And you can clearly tell, like everybody has been saying, they miss each other. They miss each other, and it's just the stubbornness that was all that was blocking it. But I really do hope that they take those baby steps, that comes bigger steps to make them get back on track. I really do. But that was Married to Medicine, y'all. Tell me how y'all felt about it, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.